Good evening and welcome into Off the Line Racing, where we are here for round 8 here in Azerbaijan. This is our third season running as a league, so this is our first time running Azerbaijan in a calendar. So I'm quite interested to see what goes on today and how these guys get on. We are waiting for a couple of latecomers. We were expected to have 18, I believe, or 19 in total. So hopefully we get a couple of those come and join in uh, as the qualifying goes. But we'll start with 14 for now. Um, yeah, as I was saying, this is the first time that we are running Azerbaijan here in OTLR, so fairly interested to see how we get on. Notorious for safety cars, hopefully not too many today. We've got a nice dry qualifying, as we can see here, as the currently got a few people out on their outlap for their first run. But yeah, all looks good on the weather front, as Happy Man has left the session, so bear with me a second, guys, while I just re-invite this guy. It was Happy Man. There we are. Let's hurry up and hopefully get him back in pretty swiftly. Just seeing in chat, Benjo Warrior. You have to be signed up and allocated a seat, unfortunately, to be able to race. I'm not sure if I don't think you are. But yeah, and on the attendance sheet, because we do a mandatory lobby reset at the end of qualifying, so drivers do have until that reset to turn up if they are running late. It's just obviously if they don't put a qualifying lap in, that they will start from the back of the grid. But as we've seen Nilo retire, I don't know why. If he's had I think I was on board with him. Yeah. So the spots that are currently open could be filled by the end of qualifying, so we can't sort of say yes to getting anybody else in on the basis that that driver that hasn't turned up could turn up by the end of qualifying. As we've just seen NYTY also retire. Again, I don't know why that is, but that unfortunately will be their qualifying over and out with before it got going. As the first laps now start to come through, and Red Devil is going to be the man to take the current quickest out of the three with a 38.1. Puck's following behind with a 38.752, and then CBMD matching that with exactly the same on a 138.752 to put him third, as he got that lap after Puck's. And then Ty Clear is our fourth man currently with a time of a 141 flat almost, so 141.068. We'll go on board with Redog as he is on his way down the main straight now, as I believe to finish his first hot lap. As he goes across the line and gets a 139.2. That will put him into fourth currently. Let's have look who's coming to the end. We have a Kick Sauber. I think it's going to be LR Luke coming into the end of the lap. So let's see where he goes. As he goes into second, splitting the two Alpines with a 38.4. Hi, Rootsy Color. I don't know if you were here when I was just explaining. Yeah, the spots that we have open might not be open as they were. People have put down their attendance. Oh, as we saw the Ferrari, a Happy Man there, getting a little bit squirrely on the exit onto the final straight. Wow, it's got them bends first, but yeah, it's technically the final straight. But yeah, the way that we run with the lobby reset, their spots they can join before the end of quali, and they have up until the start of the next race, of the race on the lobby reset. So really, we can't get anyone in and give that seat away because they have up until the start of that race to join. So there's no time to get anyone else in if they don't show. And also, you know, we've got the basis of, like, you know, sign up and allocation as well. But yeah, it's just with the way that we set up with the lobby reset, they do have that chance to join up until the end of qualifying. So other than the two retirees, Supply Laptors on an outlap and Cloud is still in the pits, so everyone else has got a time on the board. Red Devil with the quickest still with that 38.1 that he put down for his banker, and Llama came in, I missed that, apologies, and came in just above Luke with a 38.2. And then we still have 4th and 5th with Pucks and CMB with exactly the same time currently on their outlaps for their second run. The sun is still shining, so it's looking like we're going to have a dry qualifying throughout, as I would kind of expect, but you never know with this game. It can truck rain in anywhere. So I'll just go on board with MJ, as he's got supply as well. I think MJ's ahead though. Where is MJ? Yeah, he's coming. Oh, he's going pretty slow, so yeah, he's on his way in. So we will go back on board with Supply Raptor, currently who's doing his first flying lap. As he's approaching the castle section now. It's one of my most dreaded sections, as many people's dreaded sections. You just got to have the confidence to throw that car into the alleyway, as I call it, up the little hill, and it's barely, with the size of the cars at the moment, you barely be able to fling the car in on its own, never mind go side by side into that corner. So it's a very difficult section, that castle section, as we've seen a purple sector 2 there from Supply Raptor. So we're looking at a potential pole lap maybe here, or a half decent lap to put him up near the top end currently, at least anyway. So he's on the run down to the start line now. He's just about to get to it, so we'll see where he goes. And he goes third, so that was a purple last sector as well, so he must, I mean, his personal best, unless he had maybe a squirrely first sector or something. But he's also got exactly the same time as Llama, so currently on the timing board we have four drivers, two separate pairs with exactly the same times. We have Pucks and CMB with 38.752 and Supply Raptor Llama with a 38.286. So you don't see that every day. You know, never mind 2 drivers having the same lap time, but 4 drivers. It's a very no room for error track. Very like Monaco, Jeddah, you know, standard sort of way of driving a street circuit. Really is there's walls and you got obviously you're trying to push the car as much as you can, but also you're trying to be a little bit tentative as well of not over pushing it and sending yourself into the wall. As this Castle section is the most likely place of doing that on this track. And another spot that I would say is quite a easy spot to run yourself into the wall is where we can see AMS Redog approaching now. This corner he's about to go round. If you hit that curb that he did bounce over and hit it with too much speed, it's quite easy to send yourself into that wall on the opposite side. So, but other than those two, the rest of the track for me personally, I think it's all right. It's just from Castle section to the start of the final straight is not good for me. But Redog's coming to the end of his second run, so we'll see if he gets an improvement on that 39.2 that he currently has. He does. He gets a 38.7. I don't think it really changed much on his position, but it definitely is an improvement on his time. So bear with me while apologies for the little quiet moments. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the Discord chat as well while we're coming into towards the back end of qualifying to see if any of them latecomers have messaged for an invite. But enough of that, we shall go on board with Red Devil's done a 37.5. He's improved. He's gone out of the 30th, only driver out of the 38s at the moment. And as I say that, Cloud puts a 37.9 on the board, so the track evolution is coming in now. The final runs, the setups are getting dialed in as we come into the last 5 minutes of qualifying. So this is where it all gets interesting for everybody, and the pressure's on now as they start seeing where they position on the grid and start seeing everybody's final times rolling in. Got a kick coming down. I think that's Luke. Is he on a hot lap? He's flashing. He does seem to be going, but no, he's on his way in, I think. Yeah, he's definitely going into the pit lane. So we'll go back. Redog has just done one, so he's also going to go in. Because that was a bit of a dodgy entry to the pit there. I didn't see who I was on board with. I was just flicking through, trying to see who's coming down the straight here. So much easier on PC where you can do the, you know, just press the number at the position number. So apologies for the flicking through, but I think everybody is going to be preparing themselves now for their final run in our first ever Azerbaijan qualifying here in Off the Line Racing. Crypto in the chat. Glad to see farmers getting a chance to do the advantageous jobs. I don't know if he's aiming that one at me, as I know he's around like the same area as me, and the farmer name gets thrown at our accent a fair bit. So the only person out at the moment is Supply Raptor. He's on his out lap. We'll start seeing everybody else come out. TF Cloud is retired, so he either doesn't think he can get much more of an improvement on that, or yeah. So he's called it a day for his qualifying. As Redog's on his way out of the pit also, so we'll go back to Supply Raptor as he's going to be our first man to do a final run. And from what I know and have seen of this man, he's quite capable of sticking a lap up at that front end. So well, I can't count anyone out really, but yeah, definitely don't count this man out for having a good lap. So no pressure, Supply, if you can hear me, but we're gonna stay on board with you for the moment as you're gonna be the first man to take us through this final run. As you make your approach to turn 1 now, you want to try and open up the corner as much as you can, keep it tight, but also wary on that wall of the exit as you try carrying the speed through. Now we'll go around to turn 2 onto the first of 3, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 DRS zones, might be 2, you think it used to be 3. Into the first DRS zone, wings now, close the wing, a little tap of the wall, don't think it compromised too much of his speed. Definitely a little squiggle out of that corner as well. Now we're coming into my worst section. The dreaded castle section for many, but seemed nice and tight on the apex there. Flings it into the... you'll have to bear with me with names. I have said before, I go with numbers. So into the alleyway. I call that bit an alleyway just because of how tight it is. It might be what it is, but I don't do names. I'm not one to store names very well. But Supply, I think there's a little tap on the wall again of Supply. So not looking the cleanest of laps on the exits for Supplies. It looks like he was pushing the limit of the line there, coming onto the final straight, but he's still got the battery deployed. He's going for it. He hasn't backed out, so he mustn't have had a exceeding come up. So we'll see if his time goes on the board and if he improves on that 38.2 he currently has. He does with a 37.6. That puts him up into second. I did say this guy's capable of doing a decent lap, and he's smacked himself straight up into second there, right behind Red Devil with a 37.6 as he gets himself out of the way for the traffic that was behind him that are all starting their final runs now. We've got a car approaching the final straight, so I'll try. It looks like a Red Bull. It is a Red Bull, a Redog. So I was watching Redog come down the final straight. I can't see any. Redog finishes his qualifying there in 9th, and Beyond Gamer has also finished his qualifying. He's currently sat in 10th. Obviously Cloud retired, so he's not going to improve that current time. So as it stands, you've got Red Devil and Supply Raptor. So in first and second, as we just see MJ improve and put himself between Redog and Beyond. Ty Clear has finished and he'll stay down in 12th. Happy Man's come in with a 38.1 to put him in 4th. Trying to catch guys on board here. We've got a McLaren, that's going to be Llama. Llama goes pole with a 37.4. As we were on board as he finished that lap, and Red Devil gets an improvement to a 37.481. It was just Llama just out qualifies Red Devil by 200. Is that yet? So Supply Raptor, he did his lap, so that will be it for the qualifying. There's everybody's got a checker flag next to their name, and Luke is in the pit. So yeah, there's Llama coming in clutch right at the end there and snatching the pole from Red Devil, who was sat on that pole position for majority of the qualifying. So we've got Supply Raptor, though, rounds out the front three, and then it was Llama, not Llama, it was, we'll see now, Cloud, who who will round out the second row. So bear with me 2 seconds, guys, while I just get this grid so we make sure we get everybody in the right spot for this race. Because I don't want to get shouted at for anybody not being in the right place. But yeah, so Llama in first, Red Devil second, Supply Raptor third, Cloud fourth, Happy Man fifth, D in sixth, and I wasn't quick enough. I need to get quicker at this. It's having to take the photo, it just delays that couple of seconds. So by the time I start reading, the timer's nearly gone. But yeah, so this race, bit cloudy in the sky, but dry as they retire from this one, so we can get back into the lobby, do the lobby reset, put everybody back into their right grid position, and then there's no grid penalties this week, which is always good to hear. And we can get this our first ever Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in OTLR underway, and I'm hoping for the next race that is also dry, so we get a good bit of racing for these guys. I can see a few people complaining at the track. I know it's not a favourite of many, this one. Just it's tight. It's got sharp corners. It can be one of those that jumps up and bites you. As everybody does a little boogie on the grid by the looks of it. If we retire as quickly as we can, guys, so I can get this reset done and we can get you guys racing. The longer it takes for you to DNF, the longer it takes for the race to get going. So we're just waiting on NYTY. NYTY, if you're in the stream, can you retire, please? Thank you, sir. Anyone in the chat got any predictions for me of what they think this race is going to happen? Going to happen in this race? Do we think? I don't know. I haven't done a 50%. I think on this race fully. It's a one stop like most tracks, but what sort of? Be interesting to see what sort of tyre people opt with at the beginning. Whether they look to go long or whether they look to try and gain position. Why everybody's sort of more bunched up, because safety cars aren't always a guarantee, so you can't rely on that. So yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see what strategies people come up with. For me, I'm not biased or anything, because I don't race in here, and all these guys are all pretty much just normal guys to me. I don't know anybody like specially, so I'd like to see Supply do well in this one. As far as I'm aware, thinking of previous races, Supply hasn't had the best of luck. I might be wrong, but I don't think he has, and he's got the pace in him, so it'd be nice to see a good bit of racing action from Supply. As we go into the weekend structure, we get qualifying off. Oh, Sorry, Crypto. I've just reading your chat because I'm doing the lobby resets. You'll have to bear with me in the stream. I will get on to responding as soon as I am able to read the chat. HDL supply. Where is? Why have you gone there? Alarma Red Devil. Right, you come back down. You should be there. Switched around there. Llama, Red Devil, Raptor, Cloud, Happy Man, D, Pux, Luke, Redog, MJ, Beyond, Ty, NYT, White, Nilo. Yeah. Happy days. We'll just check everything else. Midday perfect dynamic. Ghosting I did. No, I can't. It's not my decision on that one, so I can't say yes to allowing you coming comms. It's not my. For me to say, yeah, I don't want to say yeah and then do wrong or anything. Yeah, I'll, you know, obviously I'll bear what you say in mind, and I will speak to the relevant people, because it's more of like it's not like a sole one person who makes that decision on whether we allow them things this time round. And tonight I'm on my own, so I don't want to make the decision myself and make the wrong one. So thanks for the offer. It would be nice. Don't get me wrong, it would be really nice. But yeah, I don't want to do the wrong thing, if you get what I mean. So, yeah, thanks for the offer. It was Benjo. Yeah. If you're within the server, put it forwards. If you're interested in that, put it forwards. And it may well be something that myself or someone, another part of the team, another member of the team could end up speaking to you about. That's the only thing I can sort of advise. Like, if you are interested in doing that type of thing, and not necessarily like full time. I mean, like, you're just stepping in as and when needed, or any. Then yeah, it's like, put your idea forward, and it will be something, it will be discussed and considered, or kind of thing. Other than that, yeah, I don't want to say yes and then end up that not being the right thing. So, or whatever. So if I just keep it the way it is for tonight, then no harm done. So we just wait. So while we're just waiting for everybody to reapply their setups, we do see some lovely sunshine shining on that pit lane there and casting some shadows. So the weather's looking. I can see clouds in the distance, so it's not clear. It's perfectly clear. It could, not rain, but it could, murk over a little bit, which would help with temperatures because it's quite a windy track. Sharp corners, and turn one, as Edward is mentioning in the chat, is at the start of a race can be fairly tight, I think is the word I was looking for there. Like, yeah, it's obviously, as any first corner is at the start of a race, but some you have a bit more of a run to, but this one it's a very short run into turn one. So, you sort of get going, and then especially if you're middle of the pack or towards the back, you sort of get going, and then you're off the power in no time, and over the break, watching what's going on ahead of you. So it's not a huge run down into turn one. Obviously the straight itself on this track, that start straight, is very long. So it's just that from where the front of the grid starts, it's not a long run. As we hear the beeping in the background, so that is the indication that we are about to get going. So the lights are on, and we are off the line. We are racing, and we are go for our first Grand Prix in Azerbaijan, as HDL Llama gets a good launch off the line and puts himself half a second coming out of first corner. He gets good pull away from Red Devil, who's still following behind. Kept his second place in Supply Raptor, so not much like position change wise. Everybody seems to have had a decent getaway. They've all sort of singled themselves out behind each other already. Not much scrapping going on for the first lap. Very clean from everyone, it looks to be. I can't see any problems anywhere, so that's always nice to see here in Azerbaijan. So I'm quite happy with that. It's very, very clean getaway. I'm kind of like lost for words in a way. Like, sort of what I was sort of expecting to. I mean, it's kind of bad, but not expecting to see a carnage, not expecting to see a crash, but I was expecting to see someone like maybe have a moment, maybe have a slide in the opening couple of corners, but no. It was very, it looked, from my perspective, looked very nice, and Llama has definitely had a good first lap here, as he's already breaking himself, like edging on, breaking himself out of that DRS. He's flirting on the 9/10 to Red Devil, so he's got the decent pace on this opening lap, as we see TF10, Cloud and Pucks exchanging positions as they're coming down the run, coming down to the start-finish line, and we can see a kick. No, he's tucked back in. I thought that was the kick of LR Luke, who pulled out. Looked like he might have been thinking of a move, but just couldn't get enough of a pull on the car without having that DRS yet, as it's only just been enabled this lap. As we could see the wing of that Mercedes open on Llama then, and look at that now. It's brought Supply Raptor right up the back of Llama. That 1 second gap that Llama did have is no longer, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that might be Beyond Gamer, who's dropped down. He looks to be okay on damage. Maybe it was one of the guys behind. I think it might have been NYTY. He's missing his left side of his wing, a big chunk of the left wing, and then Nilo behind has got no front wing at all. So I think NYTY and Nilo may have had a little coming together at the back there. So we'll get back to these front guys, with Llama trying to keep Supply Raptor behind him. Supply's had a good start there, coming to the end of lap 2. He's got himself ahead of Red Devil. He's gained that position from third into second. As I was saying before the race, I was quite excited to see what this guy was capable of today. As I know he's got the pace in him from what I've seen of him before. It's just this current season he's had a bit of, been a bit unlucky more than anything, as he's looking to make a move on the Llama now down the straight for the lead, as he goes around the outside and he gets the move done way before they get into the braking for turn 1, as the virtual safety car has now come out. I think that is for NYTY, who looks to have dropped it coming out of these zigzag. You'll have to bear with me with names. I will keep saying that. Yeah, out of the zigzag, the windy, the left right, just before you come onto that actual, like, what you would class as the straight part of the main straight. It looks like he dropped it coming out of there with having that damaged wing. You probably had a bit of understeer, and I'm only guessing there. I'd imagine that he's probably had understeer and pinged off that wall on the left-hand side. We've got Edward in the chat. It was gone back under green flag conditions, but Edward in the chat is asking what pole time was. I can get that for you. Quali pole time was a 1:37.462 from HTL Llama. So 1:37.462. So yeah, the man I was talking about before, Mr. Supply Raptor, is there now in the lead, and he's showing what he's capable of at the moment. As I say, Llama had that good start, but as soon as the DRS was activated, that start, unless he had a moment, as he's got a lovely view on the helicopter here of the Llama and the McLaren making the overtake on Supply Raptor. So they're exchanging positions here. It's a very long straight, and the DRS is powerful around here, and especially down that start-finish straight. Cloud still holding there in 4th, so he's maintained his 4th position. We can have a little look now as we start to hopefully set just... But other than these guys here, we were still battling hard, because they'll... drivers will start thinking about getting into the management stage soon of the tyres. So we'll have a look at the position gainers and losers as we get in halfway through lap 4 here. So not many positions gained yet by many people. Only like 1 or 2 here or there. got Supply with one at the minute, fighting at the front, Cloud with one. And then obviously NYTY is the biggest loser at the moment with that unfortunate DNF, as we've got another DNF. That would be the other Ferrari of Happy Man, who I just saw a little glimpse of him off another driver there. See, I think he's gone into the wall coming up the top of Castle section through the alleyway bit. Like at the top of there, I saw the back end of his car sticking out of the wall opposite where you would come out of that Castle section. So yeah, not a great week for the Ferraris, unfortunately. They won't be picking up any points this week for the constructors or themselves, obviously. So you know, Baku has already claimed two victims at the moment. It doesn't seem like through anything terrible. It's just through driver error, mainly. It looks to be. I mean, I'll soon find out, obviously in the chat, if it's anything different, but we've got a drive-through penalty for Beyond Gamer for speeding under the safe VSC up in third. So not what Beyond would have been wanting there. So that's, yeah, the drive-through. That's gonna sting a little bit. So have a little look at tyres. So not much different. We've got 4 medium runners, and then everyone else is on the white tyre. Obviously, they've just seen a lot of them stop then with this VSC and get off them the tyres that they were on. So I would imagine most, like these hard runners, are obviously sticking these on, looking to stay to the end now. We'll soon find that one out, but we'll get back on with our new leader, CBM D, who's got a healthy 2.8 second lead over MJ at the moment, and then Beyond Gamer behind in the other V car. Unfortunately, as that drive-through, he's going to have to serve. So yeah, that's that. VSC seems to have unsettled and offset a few people, as we've got another I think that was Nilo. I think we've just, Nilo is halfway down the straight. I don't know how he's managed to lose the car halfway down the straight there, unless he was obviously zigzagging with doing tyre attempts. But no, that's brought out a full course safety car now, so the guys who hadn't stopped will be looking to stop, I would imagine. They're going to lose out to the position to the guys behind, as my Xbox has decided to quit me out my party. So yeah, the only 3 that haven't stopped are the 3 at the front: CBM, Real MJ, AMS Redog. So I honestly don't know what the plan would be from here. They are going to lose track position, but yeah, I don't know what I would do in this situation. So I don't know if I would stay out or if I would go in here because of the loss, or whether I would hope for gains in later on in the race and stick it out for the time being. I don't know. Anyone in chat, what would you do? As we're going to see them go in, so that answers the question for what they were thinking. As we see CBM, all 3 of them do go in. So I did think that might have probably, even though the positions they're going to lose, that probably was their best bet, because without another safety car or anything, it would be hard work for them. So that puts Llama back into that top position. Where is Supply Raptor? He's in the pit. 9th. He's on the mediums there. He's sticking. He's going for wing damage. Oh, please don't tell me, commentator's curse, where I've been speaking about you, Supply, and saying that you've been having unlucky moments, that you've had one of your unlucky moments. Please do not tell me that that is what's gone on, because it's just can't. I just can't. The luck, it just isn't there for some people. If that's the case, not currently at the moment. I know that. Just trying to look who else. It was Red Devil, wasn't it? So Red Cloud has managed to come up from that fourth. Get my numbers right. 4th spot and put himself into 2nd, and that's put Red Devil back into 3rd. That's what I wanted to say. But Llama, who started in pole, is going to be the man to get the race underway again when the safety car goes in. We've still got a couple of cars straggling behind, catching up. So I'd imagine we would see the safety car go at least another lap to allow them chance to catch up. With Supply Raptor. Oh, forgive me. Supply is 3 AM for me here. Supply Raptor and Ty Clear. So yeah, it was a clean start, but then as battles started to unfold, people started to make a couple of mistakes. From lap four onwards, we see ourselves here now with our first and hopefully last safety car of this race. We've got three guys, unfortunately, who have DNF'd from this race, so it leaves 11, because we were supposed to have 18 tonight, and 4 people decided to not show up and not give any sort of answer to why. So there's a bit, a bit of a bummer on that side, because that's 4 seats there that could have brought a bit more, could have added to the action, but nonetheless we should still get plenty of that action with the guys that we have here running still. And we started with 14. It's not the end of the world, it's not drastic, but yeah, a bit unfortunate that the 4 guys that didn't show up, but we move, and so far we've got a race on between that front pack, especially with Llama, Cloud and Red Devil. So the call has been made as we see the pack getting bunched up now and the safety car pull away. So it's all down now to when HTL Llama is going to drop the bomb, leave a smell of burning rubber, get the wheels spinning and take off down the start straight. He won't actually get the wheels spinning because you don't want to do that, but it sounded good in the head as it rolled off the tongue. He's looking to leave it quite late. He doesn't want to go too early and have people getting the run. We're coming right up to the line here now, and he has gone just before the line. He's left it right up to the last second. As we saw somebody go into the pit as well. That's Beyond Gamer. So we are back in green flag conditions. Llama has got himself away nicely through the first two corners. He's pulling a little gap to the car behind. Maintaining the gap is in the lead to the car behind, as we see Pucks F1 and Redog swapping positions there. Around turn 3, I think that was. So Pucks gets himself ahead of Redog. Supply Raptor has got himself back into 6th currently after having to change his wing. So Supply Raptor in 6th, yeah, because he stopped for that wing. He's made 3 stops. Sorry, I've still got that on the. Apologies for that. I still had that on the screen. I was staring at the timing board. Oh, and I want that back. Where have you gone? So Llama again, without that DRS, he manages to pull away. You know, without the DRS being activated with the cars behind, Llama gets himself gone, but as he did at the start of the race. But once that wing gets open, it seems to be like the end of the straights. He sort of loses out, as we can see now. Cloud closing that gap. Took 4 tenths off him almost in that final little sector of the straight. So I think Llama must be running a. It appears he must be running a higher downforce setup, so he's gaining in the corners through the first and middle section, but then the cars behind, who appear, because they're going quicker, to have a lower downforce setup, are just gaining that time back down the straights. Yeah, so Yasko, the safety car thing up in the top, that's just a bug. If you're not aware of that, the safety car is gone. The safety car is definitely in. We are definitely back under racing conditions. So yeah, that's just a bug. It just does. The game is always done that. It just doesn't disappear as Redog retires. It's another. Retire, where is that? Oh, it looks like he smacked the bottom of Castle. Castle has claimed a victim. And that will be Redog, as I imagine he's been quite active in the chat. I imagine we'll soon see him pop up and say that, but I think Redog might be our first Castle victim of this race and of Baku for OTLR. Ignore the voice going there, got a bit of a dry throat. So yeah, sad to see there as Redog. He didn't have much faith in himself from what he was saying in the chat beginning, but he was doing alright, like okay at the start, and then yeah, unfortunately, he's our 4th victim of this race, but the first victim of Castle for this race. So that leaves us with 10 people remaining now from our starting 14. Llama dropping all the way down to 9th. So Cloud is going to be the man who leads this safety car away if it stays the way it is. Cloud started in 4th. Now he's going to be leading the safety car away, so he's probably quite happy with how his race has unfolded so far, and I'd imagine Red Devil too, as Red Devil did start in 2nd, I think it was. It was either 2nd or 3rd. I think it was 2nd. You know, so he's not lost anything. He's not lost out, which is the main thing, and he's not gained yet. But first, obviously, with the safety car is right there in front of him. So yeah, I think Yasko. That's what I was just looking at, thinking. Yeah, I think he did. He must have made another stop to put him down in 9th, and I've missed that. So we'll just have a little look. It does say he 2 stops against his name, and he is. Yes, he did. He did. There is the answer to the question. Llama has stopped again. He has got off of the hards and put the mediums on. So I'm wondering, are the hards not so great? You know, for grip and everything, race-wise, and like they'll last long enough, but maybe just not a racy enough tire. And Llama's gone. I think I can do better on the mediums. Do I think there will be one more stop by everybody on the grid? Looking at what Llama's just done. We've got people 7 lap me. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would answer that question with a yes. I think the people on the hards will probably crack on this. Maybe stick to the softs on towards the end if the hards fall away, but I don't think the softs last that long. Or do they? I think the medium tyre is favourite. It is on most tracks. It's a favourite tyre, but yeah. I do think the answer to that question would be yes. I think with these coming up to 10 lap old hards by the end of this safety car, there's still 14 laps to go. It depends how racy the tyre is, I think. The tyre will last, but I think it depends on the pace and the raciness of the tyre. If they start losing too much to any of the guys on the mediums, or they just start struggling really bad and they see the car in front, you know, they're not gonna. It's not gonna compromise them too much making that stop. Then yeah, I think they'll make that stop. If the tyre maintains enough pace for them, then probably we probably won't. You know, like as I say, the tyre would probably survive on wear. More than likely, especially with this safety car, to the end. So I don't think wear is going to be the issue. I think it is going to be raceability, traction, grip, you know, pace of the tyre that makes that decision. As we see the call for the safety car in, nice and early again. So Llama, TF10 Cloud is going to be the man that gets us underway for this one. Let's see if what his safety car restart strategy is going to be. Is it going to be similar or different to Llama's with leaving it right to the end to drop the hammer? Here's Reed. Do get underway a bit earlier than Llama got us going, but it was still, you know, wasn't too early, wasn't too late, and he's done the job for him as he's maintained his lead, and he's got 6 tenths on Red Devil behind. So good getaway from TF10 Cloud as the safety car goes back in. So, battle for the points now between these guys as we see exchanging of positions between MJ, Supply, Pucks and Llama. They're all battling on the run down to Castle section now. The Pucks right on the diffuser of Supply Raptor. Supply Raptor missing his right plate, and he smacks the wall. It's concertina effect. I think 2 cars also got collected in that. There's nothing that Supply could have done really. He had a damaged wing. He's gone left to make the turn. The car without that wing has said no chance, mate, and he's gone straight into the wall at the other side of Castle. And as we saw MJ also spin out in the background, and now Supply with that damaged wing locked up goes straight into the wall again and takes the wing off completely. So utter total carnage here on lap 13. After that safety car restart, this time it seems it's only a virtual safety car, even though MJ had he was straight in the wall, had a crash there, and was on track, and then all the debris that was left Supply. So I'm very surprised that this one is only a virtual, considering that there was less damage for the other one that brought out a safety car. But hey ho, this is F124. And F124 will never cease to amaze, as we have learned with things that this game can do, as D is getting himself up into second now, getting himself past Red Devil. He is making moves forwards, and now he is going to have his sights set on Cloud and that race lead, as we see Llama and Devil now battling side by side as they come through the chicane. If the thing you can sort of class as chicane, as he gets caught up with the kick, and then that's Llama round in the wall. I think that was Luke. Yeah, Luke in the kick that he's had to come in together with. Couldn't see who was entirely at fault for that, if anyone, or if it was just game mechanics and a tyre lockup as they were battling hard. But Luke's missing his right end plate. Absolute carnage here since this safety car restart. Mental stuff that we are seeing here. Now we currently only have 9 runners left out of the 14 that started. There's 5 unlucky people that aren't going to take anything away from today, as we've got another yellow flag in sector 2 with Llama and Supply. Those two with their damage at the back, we might even see them two go into the pits here. This is absolute, I say it again, it's just carnage since that safety car restart. People just have just all throwing it in like it was a last lap battle, and just getting tangled on top of each other. Just messy start after that is the only way I can explain what we saw. But I think the stewards could have their work on this one from that safety car restart, as there was quite a few coming together with a few different people. But back to racing, as we are back in green flag, and Cloud has got a pretty healthy lead for DRS. He doesn't have to worry about DRS from the car behind, which is CMD, and then Red Devil, who's still in a podium position. He's holding on to third. Luke, with that damaged wing, he's looking like he's going to go into the pit. No, he's decided not to. He was just trying to defend a bit, I think, break the toe from Pucks, who has got past, and it was inevitable anyway, as Luke's going to carry in this heavy, looks to be fairly heavy damage on his right wing. So all depending on his setup. If he had a high downforce setup, he might get away with it. Depends, you know, how bad that car feels for him turning into the corners. But as I say, as the car gets lighter and stuff, if he had a high downforce setup and losing a little bit on the front wing, he might still have just enough turning to carry on with the race and not lose out on making that stop if it's unnecessary, which is why we haven't seen him go in. or he's trying to still make that decision for himself, and he's dipping his toes. He's testing the wall. That was close to the wall. He's testing the waters on how that car feels. Yeah, Yasko. It was unfortunate for Lama. He had a really good start to the race. A good qualifying, obviously, pole. He had a good start to the race. Seems like he got a little bit. He was just that all that fighting that was going on through them couple of corners. It just looks like he got caught up, as we saw there with the kick of LR Luke, and I think it was his rear wheel on Luke's front, if from what I saw, and it just sort of like pit maneuvered, as we call it here. I think you call it the same in America, don't you? The pit, yeah, sort of pit maneuvered him. Yeah, Benjo, yeah, Luke. Well, I don't know if Luke did or if it was just, you know, racing. We don't know that bit yet. But yeah, my prediction: Supply Raptor having a good race. I mean, he's still in the race. There's still a chance. So what's that? Almost half the grid. That's like, and I wouldn't even say it's anything to do with the track that's caused it. Like, I like Baku personally. I think it's a difficult track. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see what all the hate is on it. To be fair, I find it quite a fun track, really. You know, Castle terrifies the life out of me. Like, every time I get there, it's I'd say 60-40 on whether I'm going to survive. 60% chance I'm not going to survive. 40% chance I am going to survive going through there. But the track, I like the track. As I love the helicopter view. I wish we could just select that. You know, you could pick your cameras, because that helicopter view would be quality camera to have for some of these like mega battles that we have going on on some races and things. If you could get the helicopter shot, especially in tracks like Austria, if you got cars side by side going through that middle sector, coming out of sector 2 into sector 3, like, such a nice helicopter shot through there, that section of corners. Well, Cloud is pulling that lead on CM. I keep saying CM. CBM. He's almost at the 4 seconds. Red Devil is right behind CBM, so I'm just going to flick on board with these and have a little look at this battle. As these are, other than Luke with Supply Raptor down in 7th and 8th, this CBM and Red Devil is our current closest battle that's going on, and it is the battle for second. None of these two have penalties. The only person with a current penalty is Beyond Gamer, who has 3 second time penalty. So I'd imagine we'll see Red Devil get past here down the straight. He's right on the diffuser already, ready to open that wing. And as soon as he gets that wing open, I imagine he's going to blast a bit of that battery and say, "See you later, my friend." As he does do exactly that. Gets himself way ahead before the braking zone. Got all the room he needs to get the braking done without compromising any speed. And oh, the Haas, looked like he might have misjudged his braking a little bit there and had a little brown trouser moment, thinking that he was going to go up the diffuser of Red Devil. Pardon my use of description there, but sort of like, it looked like it because you could see the little like twitch there on the Haas's steering where he sort of like swerved thinking he was going to hit him. That's what it looked like anyway. Is we've got a yellow flag in sector 1 with a Mercedes, a Supply Raptor. who's dropped it again. So yeah, Supply Raptor, I think he's sort of, his head's gone, I think, now, after the unfortunate little moments he's had prior, you know, in the prior laps, previous laps leading up to this point. I think he's, after that spin now, I think it, unfortunately, that luck that I was on about at the start of the race has followed him into this one. Or it's just me cursing him. I think he would rather go with that one, but so Cloud is still pulling a healthy enough lead on second place now that, you know, Red Devil's got himself ahead of CBM. CBM is just inside DRS, the DRS detection, so it's all a matter of whether these two decide to battle or whether they decide to work together, or if Red Devil has got the pace to just pull away from CBM and go on the hunt by himself. There's only 5.5, call it, I think 5 laps remaining, so he would have to be knocking just under a second a lap if he wants to get onto Cloud by the end. So this it's a big shout on these tyres now to try and gain that much time when Cloud is in another level on it. Is on another level at the moment, in a world of his own, in his own zone, in clean air, just putting in the putting in the laps now, just sort of managing that gap to the car behind. So we'll have a look. Yeah, they're both on 15 lap old tyres, so there's no tyre deficit, there's no tyre difference between these front two guys. So it would all sheerly be down to, it will all be down to sheer pace of the driver and setup, obviously. As Yasko in the chat says, just overall city tracks are very claustrophobic. Yeah, I am not a personal fan of street circuits, really. I'm sort of your traditional man who, you know, it needs to be a proper track, a proper circuit, you know, somewhere like Catalonia, Silverstone, you know, Spa, like Paul Ricard in France. I love that track. Like, I really hope they bring that track back to the calendar soon. Like, yeah, Monza, like a real track. I mean, Monza is sort of, Monza's a weird one, isn't it? Because it used to be that oval, and then they changed it a bit. But yeah, it's obviously, but yeah, most street circuit, I'm not fond of them myself. Street circuits, you know, they're hard on the tires, they're hard on the cars. You know, obviously the roads aren't as smooth as a track or anything like that, which, I mean, that can add to the thrill for the racer, I guess. But street circuits for me, like, there might be one or two street circuits, like Baku for me is one of them, that are okay. But nowadays, you know, places like Monaco, like, unless the cars get smaller or they find a way of making it, which they can't, obviously, because it's already at the width, the widest it can be, you know, make the track any bloody bigger, pardon the language. Yeah, Monaco's Monaco. No, I don't like the fact that they're bringing so many street circuits in. Like, yeah, have some street circuits on the calendar, but I'm sort of getting the vibes at the minute that they're sort of taking over with street circuits because they're wanting to get rid of Catalonia and add this street circuit in Madrid. You know, why are we getting rid of a proper circuit to add a street circuit? I don't like that. But that's personal. That's a personal opinion. You know, that's just me. I like I say, I'm a traditional man. I would want to go to a track, not be stood outside a shop front watching a race, if you get what I mean. But yeah, Red Devil is not managing to close any of that gap, so it looks like TF10 Cloud is going to sail away with this one. And to be fair, the Aston Martin, his teammate's not here today. He's one of those that unfortunately didn't show up. Nick Arrow, the other Aston Martin, they are quick lads, and they have been at the front end for quite a few races. This season, they are the ones to challenge, and as Supply Raptor slams in a fastest lap, but TF Cloud, yeah, he's been one of them guys that's consistently up there, and he's, like I say, he's there again now. Red Devil, I've raced and known Red Devil for a while, and he's not no slow man either, and well, none of these guys are really. That's why it's AM1. But I mean, we only have the one tier at the moment. We're hoping to obviously expand that as we go into 25. So yeah, you know, the exclamation point Discord in the league, in the chat, in the Twitch chat, will bring the link up to the league. You know, get yourselves in, have a look if you're interested in getting involved in any of the racing. We're always looking to expand, so everyone's welcome. You're more, more the merrier. Yeah, it's just sort of now with obviously the couple of DNFs that we've had and the gaps that have pulled, we've just sort of, the race is just sort of running its course now. In these final couple of laps, it doesn't seem like anybody's making any mega gains. Or anything, as obviously Supply went back into the pit. He's looking for that fastest lap, and he currently holds it. Cloud is just, yeah, he, as I was saying a second ago, he is on another level today. He is in a world of his own. He's kept his nose clean, he's kept out of trouble, and here he is in first, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Ty clear facing the wrong way. I saw Luke get past him. I think Ty might have dropped it coming up out of Castle, and then that's when Luke has gone past. There's no damage on Luke or Ty, so, oh no, there is damage on Ty, so he has, I think, yeah, maybe Ty's, is that on his right side? Maybe Ty's hit Castle on the entry. And then he was slow up through Castle, and then maybe spun it at the top of the little alleyway section. As we see Supply Raptor retire in Castle. Yasko saying bro should have just coasted to the end. He had the 5th spot in the bag. Who was that? Was that Ty who was in 5th? Yeah, Ty too ambitious. Bro should have just coasted to the end. He had the 5th spot in the bag. Yeah, I mean, I imagine, I would have thought Ty was, like any racer, you always want to do that one better, especially if you're not in first. So, 1 second behind 5th, and 5th is 3 seconds. Yeah. So he would have had the position on Beyond, and then they have their gap to Pucks is huge, so he would never have been looking at gaining that back. Yeah, I think you might be right there, Yasko. I mean, we don't know what's gone on, whether it was just an unfortunate, genuine mistake, and he's had a moment, but yeah, he was in the position to gain it. But Claudia's still just pumping these laps in, look. Yeah, I mean, what has he got beyond now? 20 lap coming up. Yeah, look, bang on, look at that. See, good with some part of my memory. Yeah, 20 lap old tyres. and still just pumping in tenths, you know, gaining tenths on the cars behind, as that was really close to the wall through Castle there. Do you know what? I wouldn't like to watch that section in real life. I might sound like a wimp with this, but I would literally be stood there flinching at every car that comes through. I'd be like, oh, you know, like, oh dear, oh dear. I'd be just waiting to hear that bang, the "I am stupid" moment of the of a car going into it. Yeah, that wouldn't be one corner I would enjoy standing watching. I would like to see it once to just see how quick the car goes through there, but it wouldn't be a corner I enjoy watching, that's for sure. So we started with 14, we're finishing with 7 as it stands, half of them, which is not great for the guys at DNF'd, obviously. The guys that have finished, I imagine, will be more than happy with taking points from Baku, especially after the way that second safety car restart unfolded. It didn't look the best, but that's just from what we could see with the camera angle that we had. As we see the back end, we see TF Cloud starting to turn his F1 car into a drift car. So those tyres are really holding on now. Them hards are letting go and letting him know that please let this be the last lap because we don't have much left in us, is what they're saying to him at the moment. But he's been, since that restart, kept himself clean, got himself away. He's put 7 seconds on Red Devil. Like, this man has just been on another level this last stint. He has been in his own world, on his own game. And to be fair, he thoroughly deserves a win as he makes his final run down the straight now for the last time, as he goes over to the left-hand side to claim the win. And TF10 Cloud will be the man to come and take the win here in our first round 8, but our first Grand Prix in Baku for OTLR. So TF10 Cloud can claim to be the first Baku winner for this league. Yeah, so great race from Cloud. Red Devil bringing that second place in. CMB confirming the third. Pucks F1 fourth. LR Luke is making his final run. Lovely helicopter shot as he comes across the line. There he goes. Takes his 5th. Beyond Gamer 6th. And then enough of a gap to tie that his penalty's not going to impact him too much. And Ty's going to be the final man, who I imagine is trying to pump a fastest lap in right now, as we'll stay with him and see if he does. No pressure, Ty, if you can hear me. No, he's flashing. No flashing. He's pulled over. He's letting us know he's not going for that fastest lap. He's backed out of it. He's just bringing it home, and there he does. He brings it home for 7th. So crazy, crazy, crazy race from that second safety car restart. Like, from the way the actual start was, it was such a clean getaway and everything like that. I thought we were in for what a really, really good race, but then that second safety car just unsettled everything and everyone, and it was carnage from that moment onwards until we had the final runners there who were in their own little gaps, and it sort of went quiet and the race sort of run its own course in the final 5 laps. So yeah, the top 7. I don't know about the other guys in the top 10. It depends on how much. I don't think they'll be classified. I'll have to look in the rules on how it works entirely for those guys. But yeah, we'll go with M7. So TF10 Cloud, Red Devil in first, Red Devil second, CBM third, Pucks F1 in fourth, LR Luke fifth, Beyond Gamer sixth, and tie clear of our finishers in seventh. And then Supply Raptor Llama, MJ, Redog, Nilo, and I couldn't see the last three then, are the guys that DNF'd, unfortunately. So what a crazy race to spectate. As AMS Redog in the chat did put that he smacked that down wall, so I imagine he's on about the castle there. He was that first victim to castle. But yeah, that here concludes round 8 of 12 here in AM1. Yeah. I just I don't know what else to say on that. After the safety car, it was enjoyable up to the last 5 laps when everybody had their own gaps. You know, it was plenty to look at. You didn't know who was doing what and what was going where. That's what I mean. It was absolute carnage. But yeah, that concludes round 8 of the 12. So we 4 rounds remaining, which will take us up to F125. We've got Austria, Jeddah, Brazil, and then Bahrain as the current finale, which will be the last 4 rounds. So round 9 in Austria next week. So yeah, I shan't keep you guys any longer. We will be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time, which that's 2 p.m. isn't it? 2 p.m. EST for you Americans. For when the EU tier gets underway. EU2 will be here on Twitch. EU1 is over on YouTube as they get Baku underway, and we see how they get on and what happens in there. But if today's anything to go by, I'm expecting more carnage this week. Hopefully good carnage, but I'm expecting carnage nonetheless. But yeah, thank you anyway for joining me today here, and yeah, I shall be back on Wednesday to do it all again for EU2. So yeah, anyone that's not in the server already, !Discord in the chat will give you the link to the server. Get yourselves in the server and check it out if you want to get yourselves entertained. Sorry, that was just because I was reading the chat. If you want to get yourselves involved, get yourself signed up. There's 3 sign-up tracks: Monza, Hungary, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I know there are 2 of them. But 3 sign-up tracks: your time trial time, screenshot, jam them in, and we'll get you placement, and you can maybe get yourselves involved in one of the races leading up to the end of this season, and then have a little taster in preparation for season 4 when we get that going on F125. So yeah, with that, I shall love you all and leave you all, and see you on Wednesday when we come back for EU2. So thank you very much, and see you next time.